Hello, my name's Mike Covell. I am a local historian, researcher and writer, and I'm from Kingston upon Hull. I like writing about the darker side of Hull's history. I concentrate on cases such as true crime, local murder cases, missing people, cold cases, unsolved crimes and things like that. But I also look at things like Hull's connection to Jack the Ripper, and I have a big passion for the paranormal, so I write a lot about ghosts and UFOs and cryptozoology and things like that, which I really enjoy. A Ripperologist is someone that studies the life, times and crimes of the infamous Victorian serial killer known by the media as Jack the Ripper. So basically what I do is look at suspects and look into their genealogy. The idea is who they are, what they did and their backgrounds, and hopefully we can build up more information and knowledge about these people as people rather than just as suspects. I also do the same with the victims, looking into their backgrounds, their genealogy and things like that. But also looking at things like regional scares, so I'll look a lot into the scares that were taking place in Hull, East Yorkshire, North Yorkshire during 1888 at the time of the crimes and beyond, looking at things like knife crime and serial killers and stuff like that. What I tend to look at is the people involved. I like to look at things like who the mums and dads were and things like that, where they lived, the jobs they did, because these were people. These people had lives. They weren't just suspects, they were a lot more than that. And the idea is a lot of the previous written research material tends to just look at them as suspects and tends to rely on secondary and third-hand accounts. I like to go back to the historical contemporary sources and look in things like the archives to see who they were and what they did and what was written about them at the time as well. So this is where I do most of my work during the week. I do a lot of research and a lot of writing in here. Surrounded by research, there's stuff in this office space on local history, the unexplained and the paranormal, because it's a little bit crazy, it's a little bit out there. People walking in, they're immediately shocked at how crazy it is. But everything's there for a reason, sort of an extension of me really. I think one of the attractions is not really knowing. And I think that for a lot of people, the buzz is when you investigate and you do find stuff. I almost equate it to a roller coaster ride. You start off at the beginning and you're quite nervous and apprehensive, and just after that first bump when you're on the way down, it's quite thrilling. But then at the end of the evening, when you've come out an investigation, you've survived it, and then straight away you want to do it again. You want to go back and do it again. And I think for a lot of people, there's a great buzz about investigating the unknown and trying to solve some of history's mysteries. 17 years ago this year, I was diagnosed with a critical heart condition. I was told I was going to die. I was told that I needed a hobby, and to keep me occupied, I started reading local history stuff, and I started writing, and my idea was to write a single book. And I wanted to write about the darker side of Hull's history. One book became two became four became 8, and it just grew from there really. And I sort of went through a period where to get away from the endless art operations and waiting in waiting rooms and things like that, writing became sort of my escape, and it became sort of my happy place where I could go. And eventually I ended up publishing 29 books. I sold the rights to 4 to Hollywood. One of those was an international bestseller, one of them was an award winner. They've been used for various TV shows and things like that over the years. I decided I would go back to the self-publishing route and release them all at once. I've just finished book number 99, and I'm just writing book number 100, which is currently over 60,000 words, and is coming along really, really nicely. My handwriting is shocking. If I write like a doctor, it's indecipherable. When I was a kid at secondary school, I hated English, I hated writing, and then one day my teacher came to us and she said, "We want you to write a love story." And teenage boy, not really my kind of thing, but I wrote a love story and handed it in to my teacher, and the following week she stood up in front of the class and said, "I'm going to read out the best story." And she started reading, and I was hit with a sudden realisation that she was reading my story, and she started crying, and I thought I'd done something wrong. And it just transpired that she really loved the story. It was about a boy and a girl that had met on this first date. They'd rushed into things. Things had happened. She'd jumped to the wrong conclusion. They'd separated. But I left it on a cliffhanger because I didn't want a happy ending. So I left it on this cliffhanger, and she read it out, and she basically said to me, with this piece of writing alone, you could get like a C grade in English, which I was really shocked about. And that really inspired me to write more. So I went through a period when I was a teenager of writing fiction. And I've never really followed that up. I would love to at some point, so maybe in the future. But I used to write stories that were fictional, and I'd just write them on paper, and my friends would read them and love them, and they never got typed up, they never got printed out or anything like that. So that might be something that I return to in the future. But yeah, it was just weird seeing your English teacher crying because you've written something. Oh, I think I'll always be writing. Yeah, definitely. It's my safe space. Like I said earlier, it's a place where I can go to when I need to. And I enjoy doing it. Seeing your book in people's hands is amazing. Signing your books with people, and over the years I've had clients from all over the world that have contacted me because they've purchased my book. So that's always surreal. The idea when I first started this was just after I was diagnosed with a heart condition. So I was told I was going to die, and I wanted to leave something behind for the kids, and that idea still remains. Once I'm gone, I want these books and stuff to become something for them. I've left behind stuff in the city. For instance, there's a beer that's named after one of my books. There's a gin still in the gin school that's named after me, that's really surreal, seeing that on their social media. So there's things like that are all over the city that have been kind of left. Initially, everyone thought I was nuts. I remember saying that I wanted to write a book about Jack the Ripper and Hull, and everyone sort of said, well, he's linked to London, it's quite a distance away. But then when they saw how far I could go with it, and the attention it got, the attention was not just local, it became national and international. A lot of the projects I worked on went viral, and I think now they're more susceptible to the idea, and they're quite supportive, and everyone's been lovely. For my 101st book, I'd like to write something that's upbeat and happy, and maybe like rainbows and puppies and things like that. I can't see that happening. That some of these projects have been really taxing. I mean, if you can imagine, when I was working on the books about child murders, I was in a really dark place for quite some time, and didn't realise, and it was only when my friends said to me, you need help, and friends came and helped me, and it was a very dark period. I remember at one point going to Withensea to research some true crime stories and some tragic stories where children had died, and I remember sitting in the cemetery and I was in bits. Emotionally, I was a mess, and my friends had seen this and recognised the signs and came and swooped in and helped me, and so yeah, some of the projects are really, really dark. So I'd like book number 101 to be a really happy book. Maybe go in search of Hull's best puppies, or something like that, something nice. I have wonderful children that keep me sane. So when I struggle, they're there. They're there for me, and they've been really supportive. And when I do get quite down, we go for walks, and we go out, get into nature. I love just getting out and just getting away from it. And like I said earlier, I've got music. I like to listen to my music. It's really weird because when I'm writing about sort of Victorian history or dark history, I tend to listen to very upbeat dance music, which doesn't fit the kind of subject matter, but that's there to stop me going over the edge. And again, I've got a wonderful friendship network where I'm surrounded by amazing people that will just say, right, let's go out, let's go for a walk, let's go and hike in the country. And we have wonderful experiences. And a lot of the time we do go in search of history while we're out there, so it's like a busman's holiday. But at the same time, when you're with great company and you can have a bit of a laugh and a giggle and stuff like that, it does take away from all that darkness. For writers, always have a plan. When I started out, it was like a business plan. And I called it my master plan. And it was what I wanted to achieve over a 10-year period, and that involved launching the walking tours, lecturing, writing books, working for newspapers and magazines, and it involved working with the television networks to produce content. I'd basically done all that within the first year. So the master plan went out the window and I'd achieved all my goals and worked with wonderful people. So always have a plan. And again, that goes for writing. If you're writing a book, always have a plan and stick to your plan, and never let anyone tell you that it's not good enough. Always stick to your plan, and don't be put off. Just keep going and going and going. Facebook at Mike Covell or at Amazing Hull Tours. On Twitter at Mike Covell, on Instagram Amazing Hull Tours, and on Threads Amazing Hull Tours. And they're all up and running. I'm trying to update them daily, but they can find me through there. Later this month there will be 69 brand new books available on Amazon to buy all over the world.